Hey y'all, it's Flocka here, and as promised, I wanted to talk today a little bit about something that took me a long fucking time to get in order. I have to take care of myself. It took a process of learning that I needed to prioritize intentionally making time to do things that make my heart feel good, that make my mind feel good, that make my spirit feel good. And so I want to talk about self-care a little bit today. The reality of it is that self-care has become something that people commodify. They're packaging it and marketing it as something that is impossible to do if you don't buy things, or it's impossible to do if it's not extravagant. And that is some bullshit, all right? Culturally, a lot of us know what that's like, sacrificing our own growth and our own peace of mind for the betterment of our family units or our communities. And I still do that. I'm still guilty. I mean, I haven't changed completely, but I am working on it. I wanted to talk about self-care and the top 10 things I do to make sure that I am taking care of myself, to make sure that I'm feeling good, to make sure that I'm healing, I'm growing, and I'm resting. We live in a society where grinding is glorified. Self-care is about resetting consistently, checking in consistently, and making time to have fun and rest and enjoy life consistently, because this is a long fucking road that we're on, right? The number one thing I think that I was very reluctant to do for a really long time was to rest. I had to learn how to rest. And recently I learned that putting on some Young Living essential oils and getting those smells circulating in my room, putting on my iTunes and looking for relaxing music on there and having some raindrops, some ocean waves with some like nice little chimes in the background. Not just hit the bed and get more hours of sleep, but the quality of your sleep. Is your phone off? Is your ringtone something that's gonna give you a heart attack when you wake up? You need to be sharp, you need to be on the ball, you need to be on point, and you cannot do that without actually having rest. You're not a robot, girl. Get yourself some sleep. Okay. Move your body, girl, let the fellas know the way you ride it, girl. Having an active body is something that I think a lot of people really dread, right? People are like, work out, bitch, that's not resting. Oh. Working out doesn't always have to look one way. For me, I need a good little, I need a little, hey, yeah. Okay, anyway, the point is, if you are going to work out and enjoy the experience, it needs to be to music you like, to dance moves you like, in a space with the kind of people who make you feel welcome. Being mindful and in the moment is something that is extremely trendy and so new age for so many people, but let's break this shit down super simple. You cannot focus in a state of perpetual anxiety. You manifest your outcomes. And if you're always worried and you're always anxious, right? Then you're never, ever, ever gonna give yourself time to enjoy your life in the now. Which leads me to meditation. I am a bad meditator. I could probably meditate for 5 to 10 minutes tops, sometimes not even that. You can Google tons of meditation apps. I know calm.com is really a good one. You can also go on YouTube and just type in guided meditation, and you can have some really insightful questions to prompt what you can focus on during that meditation period. There's so many things I never paid attention to before. While I'm eating even, being mindful is important, because I had a really bad food addiction. And so eating now and paying attention to the chewing thoroughly, and textures and scents and flavors, and enjoying my meal in a different way so that I'm not just scarfing things down and not paying attention to where I am or what I'm doing. Also, like putting my fork down and engaging in a conversation while I eat, or making sure that I'm just not aimlessly filling my body. That is something that I've only been able to do because I learned about mindfulness and meditation and apply it in different areas of my life. Being mindful is not something that you just do overnight. It takes time, and you might fail and try again and fail and try again. But eventually, just like with anything else, you learn your groove and you do it your way, and it works out. But you've got to keep practicing and not being afraid to fuck up. Be a shit meditator, but get there at some point, because it really is a great tool for self-care. Spirituality. I don't talk about spirituality often. I went through a very traditional life where my spirituality was being a Roman Catholic Latina with her Eucharist and her communion and her cotillion and all of that stuff, but it just didn't fit my needs. I practice a religion that isn't very common. It is pretty widely known among Latino communities, Santeria, and a lot of people have these preconceived notions. For whatever reason, people fear the unknown. And so I think what's important to know about my religion is that it is about world peace, it is about healing, it is about honoring the memory and the spirit of your ancestors. So many of us talk about signs and talk about angels and talk about all of these things, and those are beautiful guiding forces. I truly believe that the only way I'm able to be at peace with the passing of the two most important people in my entire life, my grandmother and my father, is knowing that they are guiding me. And it is thanks to my practice that I have a priority in my heart to make sure I'm honoring their memory. I am living and walking on a path of light. I am remembering what they've taught me and listening and looking for signs. And yeah, I'm a little bit of a thug hippie. Okay. I want to cultivate more than I consume. And so that's the easiest way I can put it. Chosen family is just as intimate and as important and as meaningful as blood family, right? So I have some best friends that are amazing. I have some sisterhood relationships that are amazing. People who I can confide in, I can believe in, I root for, I allow into my heart, my home, I trust. And after so much heartbreak throughout my entire life, it's really hard to just say I trust someone. And so many of us are used to this social media life where we are on Facebook, on Twitter, where we added this or we tagged this and we're like, girl, you didn't see that? Like, one thing that I find really annoying is if I'm out with someone and we're talking about something and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And they're like, well, I posted it. Or, didn't you see that I tagged that last week? Or haven't you been on my Snapchat? No, but you're right here. But you're right here though. Why can't you just, okay, I'll check out that post. I mean, those things are removing us from the importance of really bonding with human beings and connecting with people. And I cannot tell you, there are so many times that I'm super antisocial. I have anxiety out of this world sometimes, and I do not want to go outside. I do not want to party and put on a smile. But there are also so many times that I do go out. I put my best foot forward and I laugh the night away with people that I come home and think like, why don't I spend more time with them? Or why don't I do that more often? And I really think it's important to connect with a human being. Solo dolo time. I am mortified of being on my own. When I was young, my family used to scare the shit out of me all the time, so I hated being at home alone. Like every sound, everything tripped me out. So I'm just like not a loner. I'm also a social butterfly. And so when I'm out, I rely on the interactions with other people to like really entertain me, because I didn't know for a really long time how to entertain myself. That has changed. I love going to get a mani-pedi by myself and taking a good book. I love going to a cafe and chilling out and throwing on some headphones and writing my thoughts down. I love to just kind of lounge in spaces that I've created in my home to look beautiful that I never use, and really just enjoy them, like laying on the couch and organizing some thoughts in a binder, or working on my calendar, or just not having to like have that energy or give that energy to anyone at the moment except for myself. I've been taught my entire life that that's selfish. Being on your own is selfish. You have to at some point really know who you are. And you can know that by your interactions with other people, but what about knowing it at your core, on your own, for yourself, by yourself? Why can't you go out and have a meal on your own and take a notebook with you and write a poem or write in a journal or create your schedule for the week? Like, why can't you go and sit at the lakefront and watch the waves and just breathe in and enjoy all of your senses and feel a moment of relaxation? Like, why? We're taught that that makes us loners or losers or freaks. I think that the best way to take care of yourself and to know yourself in order to take the best care of yourself is to spend some time alone. If I see books about self-care or self-improvement, or inspirational memoirs, or comic books with female characters, like I love those things, and so I will just buy them so that I can have a moment on my own and enjoy them and take them in. I mean, it's a win-win. It makes you more cultured and more prepared to interact with others. No, I'm just kidding. It's just, it's cool to be alone. I think a lot of people will be afraid to find out what's there, and that's why we avoid being with ourselves. I think that a lot of us are scared of being alone, like I used to be. But if you think about all of the bad decisions that we make to not be alone, the bad relationships we've been in, the friendships we don't let go, the drama that we drown ourselves in sometimes just to not be alone, then maybe you should think about all of the positive things, the good relationships that can be informed by a you that knows yourself better than anybody else, honey. Girl, don't be scared, girl. What you scared of? You're scary if you want to be. They should be scared of you, okay? Spend some time alone. Trust me, just do it. Cooking for fun, not just because you're obligated to. There are days that I come home from work and I want to fucking choke myself to death because I don't want to cook. I'd rather eat pizza. I'd rather break my healthy eating pattern. I'd rather go to sleep hungry than cook. But there are also days where I find recipes online or in a book, or I talk to my mom about an old recipe, and it just sparks something in me that makes me want to experiment in the kitchen. And it gives me an opportunity to put on some awesome music, wear a cute little apron, put my hair up, like really enjoy myself and enjoy tasting things and asking Jessie if she likes the flavor of something or if she can help me. And actually cooking things when I want to cook things is not only relaxing, but it also has been a pretty great date night for us in the past, where I want to like make a copycat Matilda's chocolate cake. Yes, I really did that. Or I really want to learn how to make, you know, shrimp scampi the way that this restaurant does it. And so we just give it a try, and it always results in amazing food, tons of laughs, and not one dramatic thought in my brain about anything that I don't really want to be thinking about at the moment. So yes, cooking may not be the thing for everyone, but it is for me. It is one of my forms of self-care. If you are just not a whiz in the kitchen and you want to be, or it's stressful for you to be, look for something that's like a really easy, no necessary skills kind of recipe. I mean, find something that suits you. Maybe cooking isn't your thing and you hate it and it stresses you the fuck out, so don't cook. Maybe you have a night of making cocktails or some sort of a beverage, or, you know, a tea. Like, girl, don't be hating on the kitchen. The kitchen got something for everybody. You just got to find what it is for you. Therapy, therapy, therapy. Number 4, see a therapist. Whew, right? That one's controversial. I know that for some of you, therapy is just not going to happen. It's also one of those things that can be non-accessible to people. However, there are tons of resources in bigger cities where you can get sliding scale therapy, where you can get free therapy, where you can get assistance of some sort that feels like a therapeutic setting. For example, I didn't have health insurance for a while, so some of my friends, along with one of my best friends, Dorian Ortega in Chicago, who is a psychotherapist, we started a women's poetry healing circle called Healing Jodonas. Healing Jodonas happens every first Saturday of the month in Chicago at Urban Theater Company, and we have an Instagram, Healing Jodonas. I'll link it above. Therapy is also something that I used to run from because I wasn't ready to deal with a lot of the pain in my past. But not doing that for so long led to tons of mistakes, led to me being selfish or dishonest or harming people that I loved, harming myself. And I realized once I decided to fight for my life after I got my weight loss surgery that I really am worth doing this work to be better. You cannot grow or heal without dealing with the pain of everything that's happened with you. Whether it's losing trust, whether it's physical pain, whether it's emotional pain, you know, you really can't move forward in life without dealing with it. So you got to look at it at some point, and that can be a long process. It could be a fast process. It doesn't matter. It's your process. And so until you are ready to look at yourself in the mirror, or in the objective eye of a stranger who is trained to really dissect what caused a lot of the pain in the first place, and how you can move forward with suggestions for changing the way that you approach things in the past. All of those things are the same in my eyes. You're getting a little bit of help from someone who can guide you in a direction to know how to unpack, sort, and plan how to deal with life in a healthy way. Ain't shit wrong with that. Journaling or poetry? I am a huge lover of poetry and reading. Actually, I'm a pretty big geek. I love it all. I love books, I love comics, I love online articles, I love poetry, memes, I just love writing. I love words, I love language. I think it's so important to not only communicate, but also to just understand the world and interpret the world and interpret other people's ways of seeing the world. It's just like the essence of communicating with other human beings and expressing yourself. And sometimes you can't do that in person. I've gotten on stage in front of thousands of people and read poetry before. I've also read it to just Jesse in bed. But my favorite thing to do for self-care is to really write down my thoughts, write down my feelings, write down those things in a poetic way. Sometimes it rhymes, sometimes it doesn't. I just wanted to paint a picture. I find creativity and poetry specifically to be a tool of resistance, to be a tool of healing and growing. And so I use that tool quite frequently, and it makes me very happy, makes me feel lighter, and it makes me honest, because I know no one is gonna read those words but me. So yeah, I don't know. I really love it. I love poetry. The last thing for self-care, or what I would say, is saying no. And say it with your chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, hell, mother. No, I'm just kidding. I think that being a woman of color, we are taught to be the sacrificial lambs of all of our spaces. We are taught that being alone is selfish. We're taught that there's no such thing as self-care because there's no time for it, because we have dishes, we have chores, we have errands, we have emotional labor to do for people, we have creative labor to do for people, we got volunteers of events to volunteer at, we have jobs to be at, we just have too much to do, we have a household to run, we got pets to take care of. Honey, we are super women. And I think that there's a level of guilt that we deal with when we say yes to everything, because if you say no, then you're seen as a bitch, right? You're seen as someone who's not easygoing, someone who's not a girl's girl, someone who's not helpful. No, what you should be seen as is someone who values her essence, her space, her time, her priorities. And if I can't be there and I can't do that, then you need to understand that I just can't. That's not an insult to our relationship. It's not it's not shady of me to say no to do something. It's also about tact. You can't just be walking around like, hey, Fatty Flocka, can you come to my daughter's baby shower this week and I will love? No, bitch, no, that's not how it works. That makes you an asshole. Like, you don't have to be an asshole when you say no. But if you want to be, I mean, if it's the right person, then I don't see why not. But the reality is that saying no and not doing or saying or being places that are not going to heal you, help you grow, make you feel happy, that is an act of self-love and self-care. And so I would challenge you this week to pay attention to the things that you're so used to saying yes to, and give something a good little firm no. It doesn't just have to be the word no. You find your way of saying it. It could be, you know, I really don't have the capacity to do that right now, but if you give me some time, maybe we can work something out next week. Or you could simply say, I don't owe anybody any fucking apologies. No. Just say no. So those are the top 10 things I do for self-care. I try to be cognizant of people's finances, of people's access to places in the city. And I think that most of the things I chose are doable for just about anyone. So I really hope you guys take your center, take your core, take your inner self, and treat yourself well. Treat yourself well. Take care of yourself. Hope you guys learned something from this video. Feel free to leave some questions below. Which one of my tips did you vibe with the most? And which one do you think I missed? Leave it in the comments. Bye.